And then you become a teenage parent and like you do the most to like take care of your little one, you know. And then
one of the things that I was most concerned about was not being able to go to school. When I got pregnant, I was like, well, okay, I'm still going to go to college. I'm still going to do this. And thankfully, I had so many people along the way that like, listen, this isn't it. You can do anything. And I'm like,
hey, welcome back to Two Little Wine Podcast with Jara
and Ashley and our special guest.
Drum roll, please.
Elisy.
Hello.
Woo! Cheers! I almost forgot to take a sip. Is this what we had? Have we had this before?
We may have.
This gun.
Is
this your favorite?
Hard to say.
Welcome to Women's History Month and our first episode of our series for the month, where we get into stories of different women.
Yes.
So we introduce her. Do you see? I just gotta get it out. I can't. The suspense be killing me. But this is a very special guest for me, because this is my mom.
Dated for
Being here.
Oh, well, thank you. Very honored to be here. Jada's laughing at me.
I'm laughing at you because your voice was so good right before this, and now it's going in and out. This is what happens when I'm nervous.
No, but really, thank you so much. Honored to be invited onto your podcast and to, talk about womanhood, and to celebrate women. So, thank you.
Well, thank you for
coming. Yeah, I'm so excited. This is gonna be good. Yeah, so we're gonna get to know Elisy. It's so weird for me to also call her Elisy because I don't call her that. But it's gonna be so exciting to for our audience to hear your story, your journey, everything.
Yeah, we'll see where it goes.
Let's sing.
So we have prepared some questions. That will just help guide our conversation.
All right.
Yeah.
You guys lead the way.
Me?
All right. Yes.
So what does being a woman mean to you? I know that's like a serious
That's.
But you're gonna go right in. I'm just gonna go right in.
All right. Being a woman, honestly, I think being a woman is complex. Right? We are very dynamic people. I've only ever been a woman, so I can only
very important.
say that. And yeah, I think it's complex because we're talking about not just biological, right? But also the psychological piece and the cultural piece that goes into that. So it's also that self-identity and discovery through time that I think has sort of influenced my thinking about womanhood or anything. Yeah, so I think it's complex. It's adhering to cultural norms, expectations, and also just finding yourself. And for me, defining myself not so much as a woman, but as a compassionate, caring, giving person. So that would be.
I love that. That was the perfect, well-rounded answer. I think that even in our intro last week, I talked about it. I usually lead with it sucks, but there's so many great things about being a woman and what makes us us that you just touched on. I thought that was beautiful. Okay.
And what role, you talked a little bit about culture, and about how there are some cultural expectations or there's a cultural piece that you identify with in your womanhood. So what about that culture do you feel like you take with you?
What? Okay. So I think for me, I wasn't born in the States. Came to the States when I was 7. So I think I had cemented those initial sort of core associations with women, that like cleaning the house, taking care of the kids. None of the women in my life worked. So they were homemakers and always sort of doing like laughies. And then coming to the US, actually, you know, I remember the first time I heard of like a woman going to college or was about to go to college, ended up not going to college because she got married. And I was like, dang, I was young and I remember that sort of like
that didn't sit well.
It didn't, like something was like that sounded so sad to me. And I didn't know what university was because not any people from my town went to university and things like that. But I just remember being curious, like, well, I want that. And I don't want having a family to be something that sort of keeps me from exploring that path. Yeah. So that's not like a straight answer, but definitely I can see how that sort of impacted my initial thoughts about what it was to be a woman and not what I wanted and didn't want. So definitely, like, you know, I think those initial years had a lot of...
That's so interesting because you just said, like, that's not something that you saw. Like, you saw the woman is the homemaker, the woman is the one that, like, stays home. It doesn't, like, necessarily would make that decision. So you instinctively was like, that doesn't sit well.
That didn't. It just felt very limiting. I was like, that is so sad. She was going to do these other things and couldn't do them or chose not to or had to make a choice between the two. And it was just like, oh God.
So were you the first one in your family, like as the first woman to like go to college?
Yeah, in my immediate family, my grandmother, I was the first
to just change the pattern
of any.
Oh, see, I wouldn't have known that. I didn't know that about you. That's awesome. And then like look at Ashley, like amazing.
Second generation.
Yes, that's awesome. To see like how far and like what you guys accomplished.
Yeah,
I would have known that.
Yeah, I never thought about like when you said that you came here when you were 7, and before that, before coming here, you had never had a woman like in your life. Like you didn't know a woman who went to work. I'd never even like thought about it like that because culturally, it's so normal for women to stay at home, specifically like in DR, like back home. And then when you come here, like things change. Like the lifestyle can be very different. And then, you know, you kind of women find themselves in other roles and like looking for other.
Yeah, like you were technically the trailblazer in your family to be like, all right, this is what I'm used to, but I want more, or I want a different path, and I'm gonna just do it even though I don't know what that, like, I don't know what that foresees, or, you know.
I think I was always really curious.
Yeah.
As a kid, I was very, very curious. I do want to say, now that thinking back, the women that I was exposed to that worked were teachers. And I do remember like one was like my mom's cousin. She was a teacher. But I, you know, just, it wasn't like in my immediate family, but that's what I remember, the women were teachers. But yeah, I was a very curious kid and often got in trouble for that because I would ask questions that the adults just weren't ready to answer. And so I think one of my earliest memories was I asked a question to my grandmother and she must have found it inappropriate and was like, "Mira, muchacha," I'm like, hush your mouth. You don't ask those questions.
You know, and it was innocent.
Yes.
Yeah. Wow.
And it was one of those things like, oh my God. And my mom I remember looking up at her like, you gonna let this happen to me? And she did nothing. Yeah. So I think that was the other lesson that I got about it doesn't even matter how old you are, your mother is always going to be the person you're going to respect, right? Yeah. So even though it was my grandmother that like physically aggressive, toward me. My mother was like, "Oh, do what you got to do." Like, she being freca, you, dude, I'm not gonna question that. So that was
Not trying to be mixed.
thankfully we found other ways of communicating.
So, what is it that you do right now in your field? Like, what field are you in?
I'm a social worker.
Okay.
Yes.
So, is
Hopefully the best, and it's social work month.
It is virtual. Yes.
I'm not biased toward the profession at all.
no. I was just curious. I was curious because you said like the first like woman that you saw was like a teacher in that capacity at Berkeley, and like so you're around a lot of teachers and so
And it was also it was my first choice profession.
yeah.
Social work. No.
Teachers, teaching. See, that makes sense.
Teaching.
So like subconsciously, you probably like that influenced you.
I'm sure. Yeah. I love school. Always did. I like to learn. I like to just be around it. I actually started school before I was supposed to start because I wanted to attend so badly. And they just sort of let me go. My uncles who I lived with, they were older. They were going to school and I'm like, well, I want to go. I was the only girl in the house. And they actually did let me out in the US. No, and over there.
Oh my God, that's so cool. How did I not know this about your mom?
So many stories.
Well, I don't know that you wanted to be a teacher.
I wanted to be a teacher, yes. And it was like, I decided too late. And I would have had to student teach and stay another semester. And I was like, yeah. So I ended up doing public service and then got my master's in social work, clinical social work.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow. So my our next question was like, how have your life experiences influenced you and how you view yourself? And I think we kind of like touched on that a little bit, right?
Yeah. Like compassionate, caring. Like I do as a person that cares about humans and human experiences and learning how to live life with the most joy possible. So like in my work and in my core belief, that is what I seek to do. Yeah. So
do you know, I'm just curious because you speak very passionately and I feel like all the social workers I know are women. Is it a woman dominant field? It is?
It is, but we are looking for more males to join the cause. It's important absolutely to have the points of views and the experiences that mirrors what society is, just multi-dimensional sort of.
Right. And honestly, though, it can't be coincidence that it's mostly women, right?
Well, I think, going back to some of your questions about culture and things like that, we're sort of nurtured, or we're raised to be more nurtured,
right,
and caring and giving and that kind of thing, and like very comfortable about talking about. Also, let's just put this disclosure. We're generalizing these gender sort of right. So definitely this is my opinion, which I loved one day on the podcast that you said, this is my opinion today, like that can change,
right, which
I thought was huge. And so yes, this is my opinion today based on my understanding,
right,
as at this moment. So it's I think we're sort of bred that way, raised that way, to be more caretakers and comfortable in that role. So it's sort of like a natural.
Because very common also, like teachers, social workers, nurses.
Yeah.
All very common, like women-dominated fields. Yeah.
But definitely advocating for more males to join.
Yeah.
and any other sort of more, gender fluid sort of approach that it's representative of our culture.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So I'm going to school for nursing, everybody. And it just made me this whole conversation, the way it segued, it made me think about like my classes. And right now there's like 200 of us and there's maybe like 5 males, right? And we constantly talk about like being a woman in this field, like it's the norm. We have to be super strong and like we have to be resilient and we have to, you know, like take care of these people, but it is for everyone, right? For other people too. Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. It's interesting.
Of the things that you identify being a part of or being part of womanhood, what would be like your top 3 that have kind of shaped you and your beliefs of values?
I think being a mother, like that has been really important and huge, and it's, you know, comes with being a woman for me. Like, so being a mother, a wife, and I want to say like a daughter and sister, like being like that person too, that you're there for people, that you're supportive of people, that you help them by being there for them. And also, like, part of it is also that I'm the oldest. I think that plays more of a role in it, right? Like, so sort of being the female, and then being the oldest of my siblings has sort of merged those identities. So there's that sort of like intersectionality of identities when it comes to those pieces. But those are really important to me, like family, motherhood, being a wife, and caring for people.
I'm like thinking sometimes when I see you like with, you know, like with your mom or with, you know, with grandma, I'm like, I have to remind myself of like, okay, she's not in this dynamic, like she's my mom, but she's not playing like mom role, like she's in a daughter role. Yes. And even thinking of like, you know, seeing the different dynamics when I think about like, oh mom, you can like say this or set this boundary, then I have to like remind myself like, wait, she's like,
I would do this. Yeah.
like,
I wouldn't do this to mom. I would have said this to mom.
She about to be like, mira muchacha, no sea frega. She about to be like, who are you?
Yeah, so just like thinking about the different hats that we wear, I always think about like that quote where it's like, it's my mom's first time, like yes. And I think ever since I really started like applying that, not necessarily only to you, but just in general, like seeing people as like everyone's first time figuring things out, it's really made me a lot more like compassionate for other people's experience.
Yeah, it puts you in a different, like, it changes your mind. Like, yeah, like a lot more forgiving.
Yeah.
Forgiving of just people being people and not being perfect, having the perfect answer, the perfect way all the time, but sort of like, yeah, they did the best they could right now. That was it.
And I think it's a perspective thing too. Like you have to, there's a certain level to get to that point though, right? Like you have to be exposed to other like situations to really be like, okay, wait, no, that's her first time. Yeah. Because I feel like looking back, I could definitely, for a long time, I was that person. I was like, you should just speak up. You should just say this. You should, right? And it's like, oh wait, no, it's not really like that.
Yeah. And I think like culture plays a big role in that as well, as far as like culturally there are just certain norms that we, you know, abide by that. I think sometimes like, we don't even like them, but they're so embedded in us that it has just become our way.
Yeah, and I think that's a good point. Like even like being able to decipher what's a core belief and what's my belief as a person, right?
Right.
Not something that I was raised believing or this, you know, whatever that the general culture thinks it should be this way, but more of like, okay, this is what I think about that based on my experiences and my current belief system.
That is so beautiful. You just like made like a light bulb go in my head. Yes. So I was recently thinking about this and in the aspect of like, is it your cultural belief or is it like your belief? Like, I feel like in our culture, women have to be strong. They have to take care of the house. They have to take care of everyone else and like put themselves back. And I feel like a lot of us do think that way. And it's hard to be like, no, like I can be weak. I can not cook, right? Like what if I don't like to cook? I don't like to cook, right? So just like one example, like I can be all of these things and still be like, okay, I understand my culture, my background, why I was exposed to this growing up or whatever. And like you can respect both, but like figure out your own.
Yeah, figure out. Yeah.
It makes me think about too, like being here and having like the American culture and that influence of like living between both worlds, and then like you get to kind of take from here, take from there, and figure out who you really want to be.
Right. Yeah, there were certain things that I couldn't do, like ride a bike.
That was like, wait, you seriously?
Yes.
Just because you were a girl?
You weren't allowed to throw it.
La niña no, get out. Don't. Or play baseball. What? I would sit there and watch the boys be like, I could hit that ball. And I could run. And I could run fast. I'm like, I couldn't play sports. Like, this is in DR and then coming here. I would like, try to ride a bike. And one time I rode like one of my uncle's bikes and that wasn't fun. Because I bumped into the house. So I was like, oh yeah, maybe I shouldn't ride this bike.
That was nature teaching you a lesson on blinking out.
Yeah.
What were you gonna say? You said it's that.
Then I'll hold it in. Oh, why? Okay.
Why Ashley couldn't ride a bike? It's okay, Ashley, because I can halfway ride a bike.
That's like one of my not traumatic. This is like it's a secret. Yeah. I cannot ride a bike.
I think that you can. You just have to go. Have you tried? I will say this. Wait, I don't think that's why. Wait, is it fear? Is it fear from your mom? Like, is it like subconscious fear?
So I don't really remember this per se, but I was told that like when I was younger, a little, I'm almost scared of me falling. Then I was scared of falling.
Okay, so it was a learned behavior.
Yeah.
Kind of. Yes.
And I remember your mom telling me like, it's okay, just get on the bike, ride it to the end and jump off, right? There in the street and jump off.
Oh my god. This is how I ride a bike.
That is...
I get on and I just go.
See? It will appear, just ride it to the end of the street and jump off the bike. Like,
No, I think that's what it was.
I don't put it falling. I didn't even know that my mom ever told you that, but that's how I ride a bike. Oh my god, that's so funny. It's like two different worlds.
yeah. But I have like, I think if like it was like life or death situation, you gotta ride this bike.
Figure it out.
I had to make it to the corner.
Let's set this up.
Does anyone want to see Ashley attempt to ride a bike?
Yeah, that's so funny.
That's not like generational trauma.
Right. I think it was fear. I think I was afraid of that. So I fell as a kid and broke a leg, and I was in the hospital for like 3 months. And in like I passed for like over a year, missed a bunch of school, like
Yeah, like trauma. Yeah.
So I don't know. I was afraid of broken bones. I still am.
It was like this part of her bone. She had a cast that went all the way up her leg and around her waist.
Like your mom was probably like, yeah, you shouldn't have never wrote that.
No.
Oh, was it? You know what that was? For being a good girl. You're told, go do this. It was a slippery floor. And I had to bring something to the kitchen, slipped and fell and broke my freaking femur. Oh, yep. So I think that's why. My apologies, Ash. You don't know how to ride it. I was afraid of you falling. Also, she had to be perfectly dressed all the time.
What?
With you? Jara fiddly dressed. Like the thing we didn't want. Dirty nails. No, you will not play in the dirt. Worms, ew, no.
But Ashley like nature.
I mean, I will say, because I was a very young parent, right? Yeah. So I was still raising Ashley, I think, with
Growing up yourself.
Right. And I still didn't know what was my belief system and what was what I inherited, right? So that definitely influenced a lot. She had to be perfectly dressed. And I mean, what do you think a teenage mom with a child that wasn't perfect, like all the judgment, right, that went with that, I was already feeling a lot of shame over that.
So that just goes to show how strong you are as an individual, like to have such like, first you've been empowered since you were like 7.
Right? Like,
I'm not gonna say, well, like, I'm gonna get an education. And then you become a teenage parent and like you do the most to like take care of your little one, and then
one of the things that I was most concerned about was not being able to go to school when I got pregnant. I was like, well, okay, I'm still gonna go to college, I'm still gonna do this. And thankfully I had so many people along the way that like, listen, this isn't it, you can do anything. And I'm like,
and I think that's a beautiful part, to let people, like, allow people to help you. Because in our culture, we have to be so strong, right? But you were, like, in that stage where you needed the help. And you had willingly accepting the help.
I had so much help. I really don't think that Ashley would be the wonderful person she is. Because, I was trying to figure things out myself. So, yeah.
I was gonna say, like, I'm a girl's girl. I'm a woman's woman. I will support women always. I'm biased. I bankas.
I support women's rights.
Yeah,
Ron.
Stand on. Like, girl, you right, but I support you. It's okay. But I do feel like that. Like, we as women need to like have that community within ourselves to like push each other up and not down.
I do also think that recognizing the good, like, the men in our lives that brought a lot of good and positivity, and also recognizing where we need help from them.
Yeah.
Like, there are just some things that it would just be so much easier.
Like, I was just a girl. But she was at it.
Yeah.
Dad, fix my tire.
But just like there's like this whole thing of women saying like, well, when y'all say I don't need no man, I stay quiet. Because I'm waiting for my husband, or like for whatever. Like, yes, yes, we can do everything on our own, but just because you can do it doesn't mean you have to.
Yeah.
And
And just to put it out there, I do feel like just because it's Women's History Month, Women's Month, we should not be bashing men. Like, no, we're just talking about like us being women and our journey,
and
right?
being empowered by being empowered, because for so long we just weren't been oppressed. And I think that's why, like, some of us now are like, yes, womanhood, which is fantastic, right? But it's recognizing when we need to show up that way and when it's like, nah, we're good here.
Yeah. Like, there's this like soft girl era that I'm here for. Like, I want to be a soft girl too. Like, I want to do. What does that mean? What does point in me? Right. So I'm probably not gonna. I hear things, right, guys? Disclaimer: I might not be saying this right. Don't take what I say literally. But like, your soft girl era is like letting like the man like do things for you, right? And like not having to like be so, I have everything done independent. I don't need a man. I can do everything on my own. Like, be a little soft too. Well, that'll still on a date. Like, yeah.
It's so unfair to men, honestly. In a way, like, what do we do?
I think too, part of in your soft girl can also just mean like not meeting things with like anger or aggression. Like, everything is not to be grown at you or like whatever. You could just like be upset, but you don't have to show it in a certain way or all of
It's interesting because thinking about that, like, I think about how sometimes I'm like in my own head about like gender roles and this, and if I didn't cook, the laundry, this and this and that. And I'm like, relax, like, your husband's not pressing you for any of that. But I think it's some of those pieces of the core beliefs that I bring from, from my family of like, my mom would, when I first moved in with my husband, she would say, what are you doing? ¿Qué tú haces? And I'm like, oh, I'm just here watching TV. Did you cook already? Did you clean? Relax. Like, but it was one of those like, oh gosh, am I not supposed to just chill? So something that I think about sometimes when I'm being like on edge, it's like recognizing like, oh, that's all me. That's an expectation that I'm putting onto myself that has been carried, and I can shut up.
Wow, Ashley, that's literally you. The control comes from your mom. You put it on your, but she said it the perfect way. You put it on yourself. Thick.
No, I think so. And I think that with, because you said it comes from your mom, and your first thing that I thought was like, and it comes from her mom, is with each generation is like a little bit less and less. I don't know if y'all have seen like when they think about like generational trauma, or criticism, they put the cup, and I think often people take that cup, let's say it has like a dark liquid, and they just keep pouring the dark liquid until it gets to them, and then it's like clear, something like that,
and it sounds realistic.
So that it happens in each generation is like a little bit more and a little bit more. So yeah,
and you know, I think talking about the things, it's helpful. Like, these are some of the things that, like, I think self-discovery, it comes with having the conversations and being willing to expose all the parts of yourself that are like, okay, this was different, why did I? Right, like, it is.
And also accept this, right? Accepting what has been, what is, and what you want for the future. Yes, and making that a change to do so, right? Because I feel like you literally like encapsulated that, like, as we went through the questions. That was beautiful.
If you could go back and have a conversation with your younger self, what would you say?
Oh, that's a good one. So if I had a conversation with my younger self, gosh, I would tell myself that everything's gonna be okay.
Yeah.
Like, I would tell her that she's going to grow up to love her life and to love the people around her. I would give her a hug and I would thank her for her just experiencing the things that she experienced so that I could show up here today.
Do you think that you would cry?
What do you mean?
Oh, no, because you're telling your younger self this.
Yes, I'm not crying now. No, I know I can you hone it in, but yeah, for sure. I have done this experiment with myself, and for sure, tears.
Now, would your younger self, do you think that your younger self would receive it?
Oh, she loves me.
Yeah.
I love that. She loves me, especially when I take her to the beach.
Period.
I love that.
Yes. Happy. She's so happy. Good.
All right. And how do you show up for yourself?
I listen to music. I do my nails. I take some time to like do my nails, do my hair. I go out with friends, with my cousins, their wives. I think I take long showers. I do, like, I have this routine on the weekends, usually on Sunday afternoons, like, where I just sort of do some self-care stuff that I
love it.
Yeah.
Love it. All right, last question.
Last question. What do you want to be when you grow?
When I grow up. When you grow up. Yes. Oh, I want to be a writer. That's what I want to be.
Oh.
When I grow up.
Like, is that something that you do? Like, you write?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I write for myself. Like, I'll have like a thought and like self-reflect, hey, yeah, or like a memory that I'm like, I want to capture this, and like a feeling that comes, and then I'm like, okay, I remember this, and I'll write about that.
Is that the type of writing that you would want to put out?
I think so, like either short stories or a memoir. Like I could see that. I like poems too, so
I feel like I knew this about you, but I don't think that I've ever heard you like say it like, this is what I want to do. I wanna be a writer. Yeah, so
I have to figure out, so I haven't done it.
Right? Like, when do you grow up? When does it happen?
When does it happen?
When, oh,
and then when you're a little old lady, this will be the younger version of yourself.
Wow. That's huge. That's true.
When you're an old lady, an author, all of that.
I'm being back, but yeah, hey, tired.
Bestseller over here. Do you want my autograph now or later?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All of the above. Well, we want to thank you for coming here, being here with us, and sharing these parts of yourself, for being vulnerable.
We appreciate you. We love you. Thank you. You're a doll. I appreciate you.
But thank you for providing the space. You know, it's sort of like a walk down memory lane, and how you said about like women's journeys and celebrating that. So thank you all.
Yay. Want cheers to that?
Cheers.
Cheers to being a woman.
Oh, I love being a woman.
I'm right here. I love it here.
We will see you next Tuesday.
Bye.
Bye.